When I walk out into the garage, I have some choices to make, which is a wonderful privilege, but this one just has a different feel to it. I'm close enough, I'm like 3 or 4 miles away from my house, so I literally drive this back and forth as a daily commuter when it's reasonable out there. And there is nothing, there is no Lamborghini, there's no R8, there's no Cayenne, there's none of that compares to this driving on the road. I kind of feel like I mentally have to stretch before I get in here, which is like push everything away and be like, okay, remember, brake, okay, reverse is here, clutch, got it, okay. I'm locked in, and then I go at it and just stay focused on everything. The key is so worn, it's the original key. And so every time I put that key in, I'm always thinking like, how many people turn that key? After World War I, everyone's all excited about moving from the country to the city, to the city to the country, and seeing their friends and going back and forth. This represents all of that freedom, it represents all that movement. If you look at the paint, that paint is rolled on and it's coming off, and it's very patina. And so when I get in there, the door, it hangs a little bit. So I have to Fonzie it, so I open it and then I go poof when I hit it with my hand, and it opens up. I'm like, it makes a certain amount of, a little tiny like squeak. Once you get in, you'll feel that you are on like the first sort of Cadillac type bed feel, because there's such huge leaf springs. The peak of production, 2 million cars in 1923, 2.9 liter 4-cylinder, 20 horsepower, which is crazy. But it'll cook like 38, 40 miles an hour, and nobody really gets pissed off. It's a nod from the old guys. Women are beeping the horn going like, as I drive by like that, and I'm like, yeah, because sometimes I wear a goofy hat, like an old baller hat, the top hat, just to like get into the whole thing. I get goosebumps when I drive by those people, because it's actual joy. And I mean, they're clapping, they're going like, I'm like, yeah, and I have a little horn that goes like, ooga, that kind of thing. I get carte blanche with this because it's so cool, and there's no touch of anything trying to be cool. It's just history. And so everybody appreciates that, and they don't try to rush me when I'm driving a Model T. If you honk at a Model T, you're a total jerk. You're like, what is wrong with you? This is the coolest thing ever. The person who had it, interestingly enough, I was going to go look at another car, and I was like, what are you doing with that? And the gentleman had passed away like years ago, and they were getting rid of everything, and they were gonna flatten everything, and I don't know, whatever the family was gonna do. The wife was like, I'm gonna give it to like a metal person so they can crush it. And I started looking up the VIN, and I called a bunch of people, and they said, that's original. And so I was like, just don't crush it, because I had to come back. I wanted to make sure I had it. Sure enough, I came back a couple days later, and it was still there, thankfully. So I walked out of there. I was like, I think I just got a Model T. And they're like, what? A Model T? And then I explained the whole situation as to why this was so important. I mean, original 1920, it's 102 years old. And then when we fixed it, ironically, we did it right here. The gentleman who helped me was an older guy who's been working on these cars forever. He got underneath there, and now this car hasn't been running forever. We flatbedded here, we pushed it in. And the old guy comes over, and you can tell he's just been like working on carburetors forever. And I'm like, this is gonna be awesome. And he gets underneath it, and he's looking, he's like, yeah, no, that's good. Oh, that's original, oh, very cool. And he unscrews this thing, and he unscrews it, and he pulls out this bolt or something, and he looks underneath it, and he's like, something should be coming out there. And he goes like this. He sticks his finger in the thing, twists it around, and pulls it out, and goes, blip, and this thing, it like blopped on the ground, and like oil or whatever started pouring out of it. And he goes, catches it, and he looks at it, and he's like, that's actually pretty good. And he puts the bolt back in, and he's like, all right, let's do it. And we didn't have a battery, so he did the battery thing, and we started it right up. I was like, that's it? And he's like, that's it.
This is awesome.
then once we got it started, I was like, oh my gosh, this thing hasn't run in like a decade, and now we got it running in 10 minutes. And I was like, how do you drive it? And he's like, oh, it's a little complicated, but I'll show you. Within 5 minutes, we were driving down the street, and I was terrified. He said, hey, I just want to make sure it's running, bring it to my shop, and then we did a whole overhaul for a couple $100. And now the car runs perfectly fine. There's been zero problem.
I love Model Ts.
I freaking like Model T, like whisper.
It's like, yeah.
Ooh, oh my gosh. When you go for a ride in the Model T, you have to plan for everything. Is it gonna rain? What am I wearing? Have you eaten enough food? Because when it's a hot day out here, you are boiling, so you have to have all your water and everything, all these little things that are just so much more intense. I'll put that to the side. Is this car gonna continue running? Which it does, but it's a Model T, things can go wrong. There's like 4 parts of the car, so it's not very hard to diagnose if there's an issue. But it's incredibly difficult to drive. The joke is I can leave this and leave the keys in it. No one's ever gonna steal it because you're not gonna know how to drive it. Not only are you controlling the throttle, which would be the speed, right, depending on what gear you're on or in, you're also controlling how much spark. So the engine RPMs are gonna dictate how much spark you can advance or retard it. And you actually have to control that while you're controlling the speed without a gas pedal. So, I mean, there's like 25 things going on at once, and there's only one gauge in there for your electric meter, you know, to see if you have any battery. There's no gas pedal, so that you're gonna look down, you're like, I have a clutch, I have a reverse, and I have a brake, and I have a shifter over here. So it's like a circus getting in this car from a driving perspective. If you try to drive this like a normal car, that's when you get into trouble. In first gear, when you push the clutch, that's when you go. You take your foot off the clutch, you put it in second gear, and then once you're off the clutch, you can take both your feet and go like this and the car will just run. It's literally the opposite of any other car. So if you were to do this wrong, the car jerks all over the place and the brakes are basically non-existent. It's transmission brakes. So it's very exciting / terrifying, which makes it awesome. Whenever I get wherever I'm going, I shut the car off, it goes da 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 da. Boom, every single time. Like it just, like da 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 da. And then the exhaust, the back, it's just, it makes me laugh every single time. So yeah, there's definitely this excitement of driving the car because I know all those things are gonna happen. It kind of feels like you're driving a tractor with a soul of a sewing machine. It's pretty cool.
The only thing wrong with this thing is it messes up your repair.
Well, it's not working. Why ain't it working?
Let's see if I get the number.
This is the original horn. Okay, with these old horns, they spin. Okay, basically.
Hired.
I'm hired.
What do you think? Will it work? You're good? You're a good man.
No problem.
Thank you.
You know, it's old, and what you have to do is sometimes they're finicky. You take them apart. You know, you shake the dust out of them a little bit, and then they work. But basically, what it is the brushes. You know, the brushes. So we hit it with a little 12 volts, and it revived itself. You know, it's at some point we'll rebuild the whole thing and do the whole thing up nice, and just keep it original. You change the brushes and do the armature. But right now, he's good to go.
It's the parade hauler, it's my kid hauler. We go to baseball every single day in it. I mean, you have baseball bats hanging out and you pull it right up on the field, which is awesome. I love it. I put flags on everything. And I get all my nieces and nephews in there and we have a good time. But this car represented so much more to people back then than we even think about phones or cars today. You take the back wheels off, you put a belt on that back wheel and you hook it up to another system, like a pulley system, and then you can grind the grain that your neighbor was making, you know what I mean, because they were trading whatever. So this was not only like transportation, this was like, we got to eat tonight as well. So it was so interesting, in 1923, it could take me to go see my family. I didn't have to go through 4 or 5 horses to do it. It just was so much bigger than what people see today. And it's cool and it's awesome. It's got a fun horn and you wear a goofy hat and whatever. And you know, you have fun with it today and that's awesome. But it's almost doesn't give the respect that it deserves. Like, it's like having somebody in your life who's really old and who's done a ton of stuff and you know who's been through war or whatever. Like, you give that extra respect because you're like, yeah, I'm kind of a wimp. So like, you give that extra respect, like, yeah, this is someone that I think has done a lot for us and is not really flashy about it. That's what that represents in a car form. And it's just fun. And like, I would love to have my kids and the next kids be able to appreciate something that's like, this is what built where you are right now. Whether you remember that or understand that or appreciate that, this is where it all started. So the Lamborghini and the fancy stuff, which I appreciate, that's where that got started, right there. My name is Larry Kosilla. I'm the founder and CEO of Ammo NYC. That's why the Model T, she's not going anywhere anytime soon. I love that car.